The Oppo Reno 10x zoom may have a terribly clunky name, but it does at least highlight one of the key camera features, which is that crazy periscope designed telephoto lens. This gives you an up-close and personal view of your subject. Great news if you're trying to capture an interesting piece of architecture or a shy bit of wildlife in its natural habitat, or if you're just a bit of a perv. I've been using the 10x zoom as my full-time personal handset for a few days now and really getting to grips with that triple lens camera. So here is my full in-depth Oppo Reno 10x zoom camera review. And for more on the latest and greatest mobile tech, please do subscribe and ding that notifications bell. Cheers! So first up, a quick look at those sexy specs. And the Reno 10x zoom sports a 48 megapixel primary lens with f1.7 aperture and a tasty bit of optical image stabilisation built in. This uses the ever popular and impressive IMX586 camera sensor from Sony, which you'll find on tons of rival devices like the OnePlus 7, the Honor 20 Pro, Asus's Zenfone 6, and so on and so on. Joining the main shooter is a periscope style zoom lens with a similar design to Huawei's P30 Pro, capable of shooting 13 megapixel images from afar. And last up, there's an 8 megapixel ultra wide angle lens for a very different viewpoint. On full auto mode, you can capture some rather dazzling everyday shots. Colours are naturally reproduced, while the level of detail packed into every snap is definitely a joy to behold. And even when you get really close up to your subject, the macro capture is still solid. It's definitely very rare to get a blurry, unusable pic, and you can still expect plenty of fine detail too. I was reasonably impressed by the HDR chops of the Reno 10x zoom as well. Even when shooting against a crazy bright sky, you can expect impressive colour detail and contrast. These clouds look rather great, not overexposed like you'll find with less capable cameras, while that sky doesn't lose much of the attractive blue hue. In really bright conditions, however, you will see some flaring, and in this case here, the trees to the side are definitely overexposed. But considering the really tough conditions when I took this shot, the Reno actually did pretty well. And tucked away in that row of icons up top, you will find the Dazzle colour mode. Toggle this on and you'll notice the colours are definitely given a bit of a boost to make them more bold and punchy. It's quite an attractive result if you favour vivid images over more natural hues, and if you don't like it, it is very easy to knock off again. You do get a bit of AI scene recognition here on the Oppo Reno 10x zoom as well, ever popular these days, but it is actually buried away in the settings menu rather than a quick toggle just like the Dazzle colour is for some reason. And what this basically does is, when appropriate, it will switch to different modes such as the portrait mode when you're shooting a human subject, or the night mode when things get a bit dim. Portrait shots came out pretty well on the whole. Your subject is accurately picked out by that multi-lens setup, and the background quite cleanly blurred as well, although there is no control over the level of blur and not much in the way of effects either beyond a handful of simple filters. And the night mode takes a number of shots at different exposure levels and then effectively combines them into a more attractive pic than what you would get with the standard auto mode. This does deal really well with any overexposed light elements and proves just as sturdy as most rivals. So that's the primary lens dealt with, but then you've also got the ultra wide angle and the telephoto lenses as well, which you can dodge between with a quick tap of this button here. My head in extreme close-up, just what everyone wanted. Or you can also simply pinch as well to zoom in and out. Results aren't as bright with the other lenses as they don't have as wide an aperture as that primary lens, but the power of that telephoto shooter is rivaled only by the Huawei P30 Pro. You can take great looking photos with ease from an incredible distances, and the level of detail stays impressively strong too. I'd have preferred separate buttons to quickly swap between the different options like the Huawei setup, but that's my only real grumble here. Stick the Oppo Reno 10x zoom into video mode and you can shoot up to 4K resolution footage, although annoyingly the option to swap between 30 and 60 frames per second is buried away in the settings, but you can shoot 60 FPS at that Ultra HD level. My 4K footage came out wonderfully with bold colours and the kind of sharp detail that you would expect. HDR results are again pretty decent, although at night you can expect some typically grainy results. An audio pickup on the whole is just fine. My voice did sound a little bit peculiar, but everything I said was cleanly picked up, while surrounding noises also came through cleanly. No distortion or anything annoying like that. And the Reno even does a bang-up job of recording audio when you accidentally drunkenly shoot about 17 minutes of video inside of your pocket, as I did here. Image stabilisation is fine if not great. You do get a fair bit of sway even when shooting at that full HD level, and it is slightly worse for 4K footage, but it's not too barf inducing. And for some reason, the telephoto and ultra-wide angle lenses can't be used for shooting video, as far as I can tell at least. You can digitally zoom in if you like, but I couldn't actually swap between the trio either before or during shooting, which is a real shame. Around front, there's no selfie camera to speak of because it's actually hidden away inside of the Oppo Reno 10x zoom. Pop this cheeky wee blighter up and you'll uncover a 16 megapixel shooter with f2.0 aperture. This selfie snapper struggles when conditions aren't great, but if you angle your shot just right, you'll generally get a decently detailed pic. As usual, there's a portrait mode, and as usual, the edge detection is slightly ropey without a secondary lens for depth sensing, but the background blur effect does look rather lovely.
And with the Oppo Reno 10x zoom, you can also shoot up to full HD resolution footage, no 4K option, unfortunately.
So that right there is what I think of the Oppo Reno 10x zoom camera. Definitely a solid snapper in pretty much any conditions that you throw its way, and at least you've got that flexibility of the telephoto lens and the ultra-wide angle lens as well. As far as that telephoto chops is concerned, the Huawei P30 Pro is the only one that comes close to it. Everything else is a distant second. So are you tempted by the Oppo Reno 10x zoom? Definitely let us know in the comments down below. My full review will be coming in the next couple of days, so stay tuned for that. And for more on the latest and greatest mobile tech, please do subscribe and ding that there notifications bell. Cheers everyone, love you!